So next, I'm going to move into my hot take for a fantasy football team I do not want to invest in 2020. This is a bit of a sleeper pick. They were hot last season. They were the talk of the town. It's the Tennessee Titans. I am just
Wow.
not on board. I mean, you look at this team, and I think they had some absolutely ridiculous numbers last season that cannot be sustained from an efficiency standpoint, from just a game planning standpoint. Like, I don't know if you can keep giving Derrick Henry the ball 30 times. Maybe they can. But I look at this team, and I will say, first things first, before you Titans fans and you Henry fans come flaming us in the comments, like, Derrick Henry's a stud. He's going to be a top 8 running back this season. He's got top 3 upside. I'll throw that out there right off the bat. I'd be hyped to be a Henry owner in redraft. He is going to be absolutely fed in this offense. He's a lock just about for double-digit touchdowns and 1,000 yards. So Henry's great. I'm not taking anything away from him. Outside of that, though, I don't think I'm owning a single Tennessee Titan this season. I look at Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, Jonnu Smith. I mean, maybe Jonnu Smith because he's still a bit of a sleeper and the value hasn't really been overpriced yet. But I look at these guys and I'm just not interested. I mean, Ryan Tannehill last season literally had the 4th highest single season passer rating of all time. Of all time. And Ryan Tannehill is like borderline top 16 quarterback in the NFL. So I just can't imagine him having that efficient of a season again. And the only reason that Tannehill, like, Steph, last season I was throwing out Tannehill as my start of the week. Every single week I had him back-to-back. Ryan Tannehill thrill. Like, I was riding the train.
Yeah.
The Titans were hot. I just don't know if that's going to continue. It's so hard to keep that momentum going through an entire offseason with different pieces on offense, different pieces on defense, different faces, different names in the division, different coaches. I just cannot imagine Ryan Tannehill posting that kind of efficiency. I think he's going to be fine. I think there will be weeks where you can stream Ryan Tannehill, but I'm just not in. He was first in the NFL in yards per attempt by a full yard. He was 8th all time in single season yards per attempt last year. And there's
Wow.
just no way this is sustainable from 30-something-year-old Ryan Tannehill. So I think Tannehill, people are going to draft him to be their starter. He's going to have a couple of down weeks early on where he's just not getting the volume and he doesn't happen to throw for touchdowns, and people are going to be out on him. And then that's when I'm going to scoop in on the waiver wire, pick him up against a bad defense and throw him in there and get 30 points. I'm telling you, it's going to happen right now. And then the other hotness in this offense is A.J. Brown. And I have A.J. Brown as a low-end wide receiver 2 or a high-end wide receiver 3. He's another guy
Wow.
that I just don't know that the playmaking is sustainable. He is a beast. A.J. Brown is an incredible football player, an incredible athlete, but so many of his games last season were literally predicated on one breakaway touchdown. And yes, he's having those breakaway touchdowns because he's a beast. It's just so hard for me to invest in a fantasy player that is one play away from having 5 points. And I look at A.J. Brown. He was second in the NFL in yards per catch. He had 9 total touchdowns last season. I expect regression in both categories in 2020. And I just look at this offense. It's such a low-volume offense. In 2019, they were 30th in the NFL in plays per game, only 58 plays per game. In another area for regression for the Titans, they were first in the NFL in red zone touchdown percentage. They scored 77% of the
Wow.
time.
That's
77% of the
insane.
time they were in the red zone, they scored a touchdown. Just for reference, the Chiefs scored a touchdown 60% of the time in the red zone, and the Titans were at 77%. So, I mean, Derrick Henry's great. He's great inside the 5. He's great inside, the 20 in that red zone scoring those touchdowns. Tannehill is really efficient in there, but there's just no way. There's just no freaking way that they are maintaining that next season. And the thing that really stands out to me, the cherry on top, is that playoff stretch. I am scarred from that playoff stretch. Tannehill, here's his playoff games against New England in a win. 8 for 15, 72 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That is garbage. Against Baltimore, 7 for 14, 88 yards, 2
Seven.
touchdowns, no interceptions.
Seven. Seven completions.
8 completions and 7 completions and 2 playoff wins. And then against Kansas City against a high flying offense, they have to put up points. He's 21 for 31, 209 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I mean, that's around 16 fantasy points. By no means does that kill you, but like, if you start a quarterback that gets you 16 fantasy points, you're like, okay, that's fine, but you're not really thrilled about it. And then I look at A.J. Brown, same run against New England, 1 reception for 4 yards.
Oof.
Against Baltimore, 1 reception for 9 yards. End of sentence. And then against Kansas City, 3 receptions for 51 yards. And I just can't have these guys putting up those kind of performances 3 weeks in a row in the regular season. It's something that's going to happen. And I just can't touch him. I'm fine with Derrick Henry. I'm fine to maybe stream Ryan Tannehill when everyone else gives up on him. And I'll take a flyer on Jonnu Smith if the value's there. But Tannehill and Brown especially are getting overhyped, and there's no one else in that receiver core that I want to even get close to in Tennessee.
Yeah, and I'm with you on Tannehill. I mean, I look at the names there. I feel like, if we just go for upside, you kind of foreshadowed it, but like the other names there I think are just as fun. Look at Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, Big Ben. Even if we want to go deeper, I mean, look at Joe Burrow, Phillip Rivers, Drew Lock. Like, I will take all those names over Tannehill if I'm investing in a quarterback in a redraft draft. So I'm with you 100% on those Titans.